Welcome to After the Whistle. First thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to interview Little League champion, Mr. Zane Tester. We got him here on the show. Come on in, Zane. We'll talk to you about the championship you guys just won. Come on.
Come on. Come on now. Lead rusher in Little League.
Lead rusher. Hey, he talks some serious smack. Just wait till we get him over.
Well, he gets it from his brother Tyson. Come on.
Come on, tell them what you told us.
Well, just all you gotta say is what you told me.
What you told us, and that's it. Just
Nobody can stop us.
You heard it right
heard
there.
it from the man himself.
Nobody can stop him.
All right.
Us.
Us. He
I'm
said.
sorry, us. He said us.
We'll put this in the outtake. We'll put this little clip in there. Can't get him on camera to save our life, but you did hear him. All right, you ready, Pistol? Hogo showdown for the Region D title, and the WOLFPACK will be chasing the Revenuer men a little bit later on this week. Welcome to episode 4.11 After the Whistle. I'm your host, Brian Moore, here today with Greg Tester and Tom Krieger. Gentlemen, how was your week?
Oh, it's great.
Come on, man.
No school. How was your weekend?
One of them more weekends, man.
Boys.
Not good.
Not your typical weekend.
Not good, no.
And I'm surprised we got you back in here. Last time that happened.
He licked his wounds.
Last time it was gone 4 or 5 weeks.
Hey, it is what it is, buddy.
Yeah.
Sun comes up.
Tomorrow, sunshine comes tomorrow.
That's pretty good.
Go ahead, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, well, a lot of a big week in football. Of course, playoffs here in the region and around the area, and we're going to get straight to it. Talk about some games real quick. We're going to save your game for last. Talk about it. But real quick, want to mention Abingdon getting a big win over Bassett, 42-34. Bassett finishing the season 9-3.
And it was at Bassett.
Yeah, and Malik Hounsell had 164 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns to lead
No, it was at Abingdon.
the Falcons.
Was it?
Yeah, there were 2 leagues.
They lead the Falcons.
Sounded better than Bassett.
It did. Sounded more impressive.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, Abingdon gets a big win. They advance now, and they're going to be playing.
The Abingdon himself, Jamie Harless.
Yes.
Botetourt.
Botetourt. And
They haven't fared well against Botetourt, and the year Abingdon was so good,
Falcons.
had that big wide receiver. I went.
Well, you know,
And I mean, Abingdon had a good team and everything. Jamie kept the ball from them and beat them.
How bad did they beat Christiansburg this week?
well, that was a big upset. Well, I can say on paper it was.
How bad they beat them, you know?
I'm not sure what the final was.
I think 58-12 or something.
Yeah, these numbers just come up with this off the top of your head.
I
But
could be wrong.
on paper, it was an upset.
Well, it was a 1 seed.
Yeah, anytime
I
a one
mean-
loses. So, Lord Botetourt and Abingdon, if Abingdon could ever get past this hump right here, who knows what happens.
This will be a good test for Abingdon, and I mean, they're going to have a chance like they did a couple years ago when they went to Botetourt. This time they're playing at Abingdon.
All right, well, congratulations to the Abingdon Falcons. They advance. Now let's get into our division, our single A and 2A games. Let's start out. Patrick Henry 50, Twin Springs 40. These two teams
ain't gonna lie, boys. Didn't see that one coming.
Well, I think they got a couple players back.
Just two linemen?
No, they got a back too. They got Beeson back. One of the backs is still hurt.
Now Beeson was running.
No, Mason
He
played
was
the whole
against
time.
fullback.
All they got was two linemen back.
Oh, okay.
And
Let's
that
have
was-
players out.
Yeah,
Early.
they did. You're right, but them Hogs, buddy, they made a difference.
12 touchdowns, 90 points combined here, 855 yards of offense.
Well, that's Zane Tester numbers right there.
It sure is. Let's recap the game real quick. Twin Springs fell behind 14-0 early, and that really put them in a tough position right there because the way PH plays, they're going to grind up clock.
Yep.
Connor Beeson had 380 yards rushing on 35 carries, 3 touchdowns for PH. PH now 9-3 and
Playing for a
continue to
championship.
play. They're going to play Holston.
And they
12-0.
still didn't have is it the McPhail?
Yeah, McPhail was
got still
left.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, McLovin, as coach calls him. PH went up 26-8 in the third quarter. It looked like the game was pretty much over. But Twin Springs got a couple quick touchdown passes from Abel Dingus.
Well, again, when you can throw the football,
Yeah.
you're never out of it.
Nope. And Mason Elliott hauled both of those in. They got a 2-point conversion. Next thing you know, it's 26-24. Looks like all the momentum was on Twin Springs' side. And I mean, darn, you kick off to them and they go 80-some yards and Beeson sticks it in the end zone again. It's 34-24. And probably the play of the game came after this. Twin Springs drives the ball all the way down to the 2-yard line. They're 4th and goal, and they get stopped about a yard short of the end zone, and Connor Beeson's the one that makes the tackle. And not getting that score.
Twin Springs got stopped.
Yeah, Twin Springs, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, yeah, Connor Beeson's the one that made the stop. And not sticking that one in the end zone came back to haunt him because two plays later, 87-yard touchdown
Right.
run by Beeson, and really put him behind the 8 ball then,
Yeah.
42-24. I mean, overall, you look at this game.
Good football game.
Congratulations to Twin Springs on a great season. Dingus kid had 219 yards passing, 4 touchdowns for the Titans. It's the first time since 95 Twin Springs has won the Cumberland.
Yeah.
They tied the record for the most school wins, but it just wasn't their day. When it come right down to the bottom line, it was, and I think that 14-0 lead early on really controlled the tempo of the game. It kind of forced Twin Springs to maybe pass maybe a little more than they wanted to.
Once you fall behind, but they at least had that option to stay in the game.
They could do it, yeah. So Coach Paget and crew are now playing in the Region D finals, and they're going to be squaring off against an undefeated Holston team, which we'll talk about that.
Which I think their last game was close. I know the weather played a big part in it, but it might play a big part this week. But I think the final score, what was it, 16-9 or something like
Something
that?
like that,
or
yeah.
It was
It
close.
was a close ball game.
Holston and Patrick Henry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chilhowee and Patrick Henry was too. That was a 16-3
Yeah.
game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, PH grinded out 450 yards on the ground. When you get to playoffs, you got to be able to run the ball. They're definitely going to run it. And we'll talk about what their chances are of being successful against Holston here later on in the show. All right, up next we've got over on the other side, well, actually, still in single A here, Holston 42, Grundy 8. I didn't see that.
Not saying that I'm shocked that they lost, but
The loss like that.
yeah, I didn't think that would happen, but it did.
You said region champ.
I did.
No, he's been called it, which Grundy pretty much, I mean, they didn't live up to everything you said.
Well, you had to
Things
beat
right there.
Holston anyway. It don't
Yeah.
matter when you played them or what happened. It's either you play them
Right.
in the region finals or play them now.
That's
I
true.
mean, but they don't
Bounce
look
out
like they
of
showed up.
Well, Holston, maybe we're not giving Holston enough credit too. Maybe Grundy did show
Well,
up.
I know one thing. You know Bullet Bill?
Yeah,
Bullet Bill Krieger, he wrestled Jerry Lawyer. If you don't
I
know,
remember
just
that.
ask him. He'll show you.
I remember that. He got the cover.
So he told me that during the game, him and Tim Oakland was doing the radio, and they said they looked over on the sidelines. Coach would hold up a,
22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22. 22
That's who got the ball. 2. That's who got the ball. They said they knew exactly what they was going to run. I went, oh.
Oh, you're right. Well, I mean, I've said this all year, and you have too. You know, it's not hard to scout Grundy. You know what they're going to do. They're going to run forward plays.
You got to stop it.
Yeah, you just got to stop it.
But they did, and they didn't go to anything else. And they completed Isaiah completed the pass he threw.
Isaiah he scored.
Did he?
Yeah, Isaiah got the touchdown. Grundy didn't score till like 6-something to go in the game. Tells you anything about it. Holston led 21-0 at halftime. They broke the school record. They now have 12 wins. I remember the last time Holston was sitting in this particular position. You may remember it. And they lost. They won the region. They went on and advanced to the state semifinals. Played J.I. Burton. Lost 2-0
at Emory.
At Emory, yeah, to go to the state championship. Of course, they got PH in front of them before they can get there. But this harkens back to that successful season that they had.
What helps Holston? Yes, they got a good quarterback. Offensively they're pretty good, but their defense. I mean, that helps their offense. They get turnovers. They stop them. Their defense is tough.
Well, listen to these scores. This is over 12 games. I'm going to start for game 1. I'm going to tell you how many points their opponents have scored. 0, 16, 7, 12, 6, 7, 0, 12, 14, 3, 7, and 8.
That was a combination of my locker. Let's go.
That's my girlfriend's measurement. You scored twice on Holston. You've accomplished something evidently. So I think that's going to be key.
The defense, that right there proves it.
All right, and we talked about, we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show. Ethan Scammel comes into that game. He had 2,133 yards rushing. Ian, that's what I said, wasn't it?
Said Ethan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ian Scammel finished with 127 yards on 22 carries. Carried the ball 29 times, or actually a little bit more than that, but it wasn't until his 29th carry that he broke 100. And he breaks 100.
He has 200.
Yeah, by then, yeah, easily. So Holston's defense must have really been prepared for that. But Holston will pick up the win, 42-8. Grundy's lone scorer, as I said, comes late in the game. Isaiah Boyd gets in the end zone and scores. Scammel gets the 2-point conversion, I think. And that's all Grundy had. That's all they were able to hang up there. So hats off to Grundy for a great season, and Ian Scammel as well for having a very successful season. To my understanding, I think he may have broke the single-season rushing record at Grundy.
You was talking about earlier, Grundy seemed like they turned the tide when they was at 1-3 and went on the road and was upset by Homeacre, and then they handled their business from there and went on upset Chilhowie in the first round and took care of business. So it ended up being a good season.
That was kind of a shocker to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not me.
Everybody but you. Everybody but you. Yeah, he's telling the truth. I hate to say it. Holston advances to the Region D Finals with 42-8 win over Grundy. All right, let's take a look at 2A here. First game, this one kind of caught me off guard as far as I tuned in on the NFHS, and I was kind of shocked at what I was seeing there. Graham 48, Union 13.
Shock.
Well, I'm shocked that the game was, the point differential was so big. Earlier in the season they played the 1 point difference, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. It was 27-28 game early.
God.
But, the thing about it is I think they've switched quarterbacks, too. I don't think
the Blevins kid's playing quarterback at Graham now, I think.
Yeah, I think he wasn't playing quarterback at the first of the season, and their offense wasn't as potent as it is now. So I'm not positive, but it's they're rolling
for 500.
I watched them.
They've been rolling for 2 years, boys.
I watched them on that NFHS too, man. They were tough.
Well, Graham had you was scouting them, wasn't you?
No, I wasn't scouting them. I was done.
You didn't have no reason to watch them. You were just watching them to watch.
Yeah, sitting there soaking you.
Yeah.
Wounds. Graham had 328 yards rushing. Union had 130. Union come into the game wanting to run the ball. It was obvious. Only coming out of the game with 130 yards rushing for Union was not what they wanted.
The first series of that game, they drove it right down and lined up in that tee and drove it straight down Graham's throat. And that was it. That was basically their whole offense. And Graham, from there on, kind of shut them down.
Well, there were no turnovers. We talked about this. I think you and I did. Penalties.
Yeah.
Which team keeps the cooler head? Graham had 35 yards of penalties. Union 83 yards. In a game like this, you can't afford to have 87 yards in penalties. You can't even afford to have 35 yards for that matter. But those penalties will come back and get you. So you make a good play or something, and it just kills any momentum. Lomax, 14 carries for 31 yards, and 6 of those carries were for a loss.
I think that was the difference of them shutting him down. You know. But I was just scouting them to see if Tiller and them had a change.
You could have called me.
We'll talk about that too. Satterfield, though, 41 yards rushing. Tanner
Which
Jarvis.
I think they do got a chance.
I think this, though, actually did play a role in the final score. Tanner Jarvis went out for Union in the first half with an injury, and that really hurt their defense.
Yeah, he's probably their best defensive player. Right.
Well, they had some injuries through the year too. I mean, people not playing here and there, moving people around, and that's tough. I mean, it's tough on a coach, tough on everything else, and you'll talk about it. I'm sure a lot of people's trying to blame Travis and Ambles. Travis win ball games all the time. I mean, people that do that, I don't understand that.
Union is a very good caliber football team, and Graham didn't punt all night. That's not a knock against Union. That's a testament to how good of an opponent they play.
Right.
You can't. There's a lot of.
I mean, just sometimes the team's better.
Yeah, sometimes that's how it is. And we'll get into more of that
Last
later.
year he was the best coach in the state, and this year
People want him out there.
Imagine that. All right, Graham 48, Union 13. Graham will advance to the Region D championship game. And the next game that we have here is the one that you was partaking in, and that is Wise and Ridgeview. So
we got on that one. Go ahead.
Wise and Ridgeview. Well, 26-20, Ridgeview with what is considered by a lot of people an upset win.
They beat them at the beginning of the year.
By us, it is. And we considered it an upset. Both of us had Central in the finals, didn't we?
Yeah, we have to, because we're down here at Bellsteinho's.
You just let the cat out of the bag, didn't you? Real quick, Central led 10-7 at the half. Came out in the second half. You got another touchdown, went up 17-7. What was going on at that point?
Well, first half we thought everything went well. We still knew we was going to have to score some points because Ridgeview with that quarterback was going to find their rhythm and score some points. So halftime was still feeling really good, but we had an injury to one of our best players. Not making excuses or nothing, but it limited us a little bit in some of the things we can do. We was up 17. He come back out in the second half, and we ran him a little bit, and he had some good carries, and then the more we kept running him, the worse it got. And 17-7, we kind of stalled out on offense after that, and Ridgeview found a rhythm with that quarterback. Guys, hats off. They were well coached. The quarterback is well coached. He's composed. For a freshman, he might be the best I've seen around here for a freshman.
There's a lot of poise back there.
We didn't think he would take the out all the way down the field and be patient enough to take the out, the hitch.
Oh, he's good.
And he took it all the way down the field. So, and it's not like we were in bad coverage, And hats off to them. They won the ball game.
And he's back 3 more years.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about him a little bit. He was 16-27, passing 175 yards. He did throw an interception, but he ran for 45 yards. He had 1 touchdown run, and he had a touchdown pass. And going into that game, he already had over 2,000 yards passing. So no slouch. And that's the first time I really focused and watched him. I watched the game, and I was amazed. He just stand back there and just throwing darts, just hitting the open man.
He had really good placement, composure, and like I said, he stood back there and found the open man, and he could read the defense. He knew where the open guy was going to be, and they do a good job with that. They put so much pressure on you, you know, they're going to take what's there.
Yeah.
And they do a good job at that. And, you know, Central, we do what we do, and everybody knows what we do. We're going to run the football. We're going to run a wing tee. We use 3 or 4 backs, and run the wing tee. And you know, one of our studs went down, and it just was hard to keep it going for us. You know?
Especially when a quarterback's hot. I mean, he
was
got
hot.
Yeah, he
You
got
can
hot.
see just watching at home when they get that touchdown and it goes 17 to 14. You could tell the momentum had changed, and you seem like you never were able to get it back. You did come back and get an extra touchdown there, but just as soon as you did, they answered.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, you can't say they did defensively. They did a good job. They adjusted, and like I said, even you know, Ridgeview is like a heavyweight fight, man. You know, one punch. You know what I'm saying? It just they would make an adjustment, we'd make an adjustment. Then you know, we just couldn't.
And you all had some chances, but like you said, when you got them limping, and like I said, there's no excuses. But you just gotta. When you have a chance, you have to
take it.
You have to take it. You all had 2 or 3 chances.
Yeah.
Well, they're late in the game, it had you guys doing what you don't want to do, and you were out of your comfort zone throwing the ball. And at that point in time, it was too late. You guys came up short on that 4th down,
right?
And that was pretty much the ball game. All they had to do was take a knee after that. So Ridgeview advances 26-20, big win over Central on the hill there too, and Wise.
It was on the hill.
They had to go into hostile territory to pick up the win. All right, that's a recap for all of last week's games. We'll thank folks at Buchanan Therapy Services. Sponsoring our weekly recap. Up next, we have our Peak Performer of the Week, and our Peak Performer of the Week is, who was it there?
Quarterback.
Ryan Oakley.
Oakley from, so here we're looking
We
for
just sat there talking about it.
I was looking for his stats. Oakley, 175 yards passing, 1 touchdown pass, 16 of 27 to lead the Ridgeview WOLFPACK to the Region D championship game.
What makes me
Central.
put him, he didn't throw for 4 or 5 touchdowns. He didn't throw for 400 yards, but he took his team down the field to win the game. Yeah. It was 3rd and 4, he got the first. It was 3rd and 8, he got the first.
And you know,
it was 3rd and 9, he got the first.
A few times they let him run the ball.
That's
I didn't think he would be running, and he would run it and get it.
He, you know, it's not like kids wasn't covered. They wasn't wide open. He placed the ball.
Oh yeah,
you know, he placed the ball where it needed to be. So I mean,
I remember a couple times on a few hitches there, specifically watching, and you looked, and the backer would be to the left of the receiver, and he was putting the ball over here. I mean, he was placing it exactly where it needed to be placed, and that's what I was rewinding.
And again,
that's a hats off to him, their coaching staff. Because they worked with that kid.
Yep.
He's a freshman, and I remember them in the summer telling me they had him out there on the field at 7 days a week at 8 a.m. out there, and he's throwing 100 balls. You know, so that's hats off to those guys.
Like the kid from Wise trying to jump that route to intercept the ball. If he intercepts it, it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
But the receiver made a great catch. He missed, but it was a great play. He just, all 3 of us would have tried that. He's trying to win the game for his team.
All right, well, congratulations, our True Point Bank Peak Performer of the Week, Mr. Ryan O'Quinn, Ridgeview WOLFPACK.
And Grundy Golden Wave had a Ryan O'Quinn quarterback back in the 80s, didn't he?
He's an actor now.
Yeah, lives in California.
I only know one quarterback, Grundy.
Thank you,
quarterback.
I appreciate that.
All right, now brought to you by Southern Gap Outdoor Adventures is our Big Talk segment. Big Talk today, gentlemen, armchair coaches, calling for Coach Turner's head on Southwest Virginia Sports Forum.
Boys, how ridiculous.
And from the bleachers.
How ridiculous, boys.
Best coach in the state last year.
Yeah.
Boys, but that's what social media and message boards get you. No, they don't. They get behind that keyboard and they won't they go up to Travis and ask him what's going on?
Well, here's what's interesting. A lot of the people running their mouth were all new accounts on there.
Ah.
You know, first post, second post, third post. I wouldn't be surprised if most of them wasn't the same people, or if it wasn't coordinated.
Probably one person.
Possibly, yeah. Well, we could probably run the IP address. You'll find out it's the same person. It's somebody's upset over something.
And then they're calling wanting his assistants gone or wanting him to
Yeah,
make
if
a
not
decision.
him, at least get rid of everybody on the sideline. You know,
Boys, I just don't understand it.
everybody.
One of the best coaches in the state.
Yeah. Just because it's okay to disagree with what coaches do, but you know the publicly
To
call
try to
for
go
head-
get 'em to
try
get the job. That's
get
right.
The job is just it's ridiculous.
But you know what? Somebody, they said somebody made a comment. He took teams from Powell Valley and Appalachia that won so many state titles. Well, it's a different era. It's different kids. It's that's single A too.
Well,
They bumped up to double A. I
like
mean,
you
it's
said,
all
you're
different.
taking those teams and consolidating. Look what Luke did.
Yeah.
Luke took Pound, took J.J. Kelly. They wasn't known to be a big powerhouse.
Right. That's another thing. I've heard rumblings of that sometimes. When we lost to Abingdon, lost 3 in a row. Since when has Pound been the
Mecca of football.
Mecca of football? Or since when has J.J. Kelly been the Mecca of
Yeah,
football?
that's true.
Then, he takes them to 2 region championships and wins 25 games in the last 3 years.
It ain't like Appalachian Powell Valley consolidating.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Appalachian Powell Valley. Look at the last 6, 8, 10 years, Appalachian Powell Valley. They were not the glory days.
Yeah.
Leading up to consolidation, they were not glory days.
But it's that easy to just get rid of the coach. We
Yeah.
need a new coach in there.
You've got that everywhere you go, but it's just it's just incredibly ludicrous the way some people approach it. A lot of times people do this; they would never put the time in, they would never make the sacrifice, and I promise you, they would not do it for the money
That's right.
because there's no money in it.
And
I had a situation it was several years ago. It was a football game. Had a guy come up to us after a football game, and we were terrible. We had a terrible football team. We had kids busted their hind end. We just were not very talented. And I just asked the guy, what does the linebacker do? And we go cover 2. What's the linebacker's responsibility? What's the safety's responsibility? We'll go cover 3.
did you ask them? Could they tell you what a 3 technique was?
Yeah, probably not. And he just sit there and looked at him. And I said, until you can tell me to answer these questions, don't be telling me how to do my job.
Yeah.
I can't make them tackle. But it's just part of the beast. People talk about this stuff all the time, and I thought it was something that we throw out here and mention it. I think those guys'
People
jobs.
can have a general knowledge of football,
Oh, yeah.
a general knowledge, but not have an X and a no knowledge, and they don't understand why you ain't running the football right there. They don't understand there's a 3 technique or a 1 technique or
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Or you run a play and your quarterback throws it and it gets picked off, or he
Yeah.
runs it when he needs to throw it.
Yeah,
Boys,
that's your fault.
that's-
That's what they say.
But you go out there and the coach takes the blame on that.
Yeah.
But I got all the way on the field was getting rid of me. Come out and said that I cheated them boys. Said we're getting rid of you. I was like, it was a bad call. It was. It's crazy, boys. And now with the computers,
It's
so much easier.
Yeah, it is.
Thing about it is, we got 25 seconds. Get that play in, get it called. They got the Monday morning, get it right.
That's right.
Very well said. That's the truth if ever was told. All right, well, that's our little rant here. Little rant. Let's go straight into our Bellacino's Player of the Year. Bellacino's Player of the Year, Mr. Ian Scammel from Grundy High School. Hurry before we start recording.
All right, guys, we're here with our Bellacino's Player of the Year, Mr. Ian Scammel. Ian had a fantastic season for the Golden Wave and led them to the 2nd round of the playoffs with a recent loss here to Houston in the 2nd round. Just a little bit of Ian's numbers real quick for you. Ian had 2,261 rushing yards this season, 26 touchdowns, and set a record for career rushing yards at Grundy High School with 4,768 yards. And guys, he's got one more year to go. He's just a junior, so we can look forward to this.
Barely got me. Barely got me.
So
I hope that.
we can look forward to this next year also. So, Ian, man, a couple things I was just want to ask you. Early in the season there, you guys had an upset. I'm gonna call it an upset loss against Homemaker, a game I think you should have won. But after that game, you seemed to get it together and put a winning streak together and go into the second round playoffs, which nobody really expected you guys to do.
Yeah, after that game, we all thought that one was pretty bad. We beat ourselves in that one, and a few of us was talking after the game and just talking about what we need to do to get our winning streak back going and make the playoffs, because it wasn't looking too good at that point. And I just think it all came together. We had a few bumps in the road with injuries and stuff, and for you guys played some good and everything, and thought it was pretty good.
Good deal. Usually nothing good comes without a little adversity and a little challenge. So, I think that game against Homemaker may have flipped y'all a little bit and turned you around. And I know y'all was there. Playoffs looked dim when y'all was, I don't know if y'all was sitting at one point at 1-3 maybe, or 1-3, and everybody said, well, Grundy's out of the mix. But y'all come right back in and won the first round game against Chilhowee, which nobody gave you a chance to win. So
I did. Go watch the video.
So congratulations, man, on your season. And I know these guys maybe have a couple questions for you.
Yeah, well, I was noticing your numbers there. The previous rushing record at Grundy was 4,544. And we had that guy in here just seemed like yesterday, and we thought that record was going to stand for a pretty long time, and now you've eclipsed that. And we talked about that earlier in the year being a possibility. And what's interesting, as the coach mentioned, you got a year to go. So, we're talking 4,500 yards rushing was the school record, and now you've got it at 4,700. You've got a season to go, so whatever you do next season, you could be sitting there in that position for a very long time at Grundy High. How does that make you feel as a player, knowing that may be something that you own for years to come?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I always looked at that record, and being close with Gabe, I always kind of nicked at him every now and then and told him. But it was pretty cool knowing that I got another year and maybe could look at the county one too. But I just hope everything goes good again.
So did you ever text him and say, hey man, I got your record tonight?
Oh yeah.
Good deal.
Did you text Krieger when you broke his?
I did.
You didn't know he had no record, did you?
How many did you throw?
One.
Well, my question is, since you got all this, like you said, you could go for that county record, which, that would be, reachable. But I guess you can work on breaking your cousin's touchdown record, I guess, next year. David's, I think, he have 28?
Yeah.
So, is that something that you would like to do before you left?
Yeah, I'd probably like that one more than Gabe's, just to
beat Dave's. That's right. That's right.
Just something to aggravate him about.
They mentioned something here that was in reach, and it's actually hanging out there on my wall. Brady Justice, 6,081 rushing yards, I think, is the record in the county, and you're sitting here 1,300 yards away, so that's reachable for you too. So and with everybody coming back next year, you got a lot of people coming back, right?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all should be in for another run and another year, man. So like I said, congratulations on this, and appreciate you coming in, and congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Melinda Krieger with True Point Bank. Cheering on local teams is a community tradition at True Point Bank. We are a local bank supporting our local schools, charities, and people. If you aren't banking locally, it's time to make the switch. Stop by one of our offices or visit us online at truepointbank.com. This football season, have pride in our local teams and bank local with True Point Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Good morning, America. I'm Charles.
That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
There is a major incident in Lower Manhattan.
We just got a report
report in that there's been some sort of explosion at...
Good evening, and we begin tonight with the monster hurricane and its deadly impact already. And tonight, up and down the East Coast.
Abingdon General Hospital. All right, congratulations, Mr. Ian Scammel, our Belsino's Player of the Year. We're good to go. All right, let's see here. Buchanan General Hospital, pigskin prognostications. Fellas, we've got 4 games. Let's get after it real quick. Our first game, Region D Championship game in single A. We've got Patrick Henry, Holston. What do you got?
Holston.
It's been a good run for Mr. Pageant. All he's done, but man, Holston's playing too good. Their defense is too good right now. I'd be surprised if they pulled it out. I'm gonna go with Holston on this.
Holston.
I'm going to take Holston as well. I think the only way PH can win this ball game is they're going to have to score about 4 touchdowns, and I just don't see Holston giving up 4.
Right.
Just don't see them doing that. So I think Holston comes out on top across the board. We've got Holston winning the region. All right, the next big game we've got is Ridgeview and the Graham G-Men.
G-Men, I mean, easy. Both of them's going to be, I mean.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm
Out
gonna
of hand.
I'm going to say Graham's probably more talented than Ridgeview all the way around. Ridgeview is really well coached. I like O'Quinn. I think they're going to score on them. I think they're going to score some points on them. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think.
How many?
I think
12.
No, I'm going to say.
I say 12.
I'm going to say a score of 48-21.
That's a good call. I'm going with Graham as well. And I tell you what, if I'm Ridgeview and I got a strong passing game, I don't think that's what you got to have to beat Graham. I think you got to be able to run the ball, keep Graham off the field, and
Well, Graham has picked every person that's tried to throw on them off all year.
Well, I mean, here's the deal, Graham too.
I just don't think you can beat him passing.
We're everybody wants to holler Bradshaw for Graham. Bradshaw's exceptionally talented, but that quarterback is the difference for him. I think Blavin's kid, he's throwing it, running it. I think he's the big difference for him. And Bradshaw definitely helps, being able to throw it to him.
Well,
42-6.
But I think they can take Bradshaw out of it, bragging at him doing. I don't think they can take Blevins out of it.
But like I said, I would.
That's the thing. You can't take them both, so somebody's going to beat you.
If I had a strong running game, I'd be happier going into that game against Graham than I would if I passed. There's too many intangibles. 3 things that can happen when you pass the ball, right?
2 of them bad.
2 of them's bad. All right, so there you have it, folks. We're calling Graham's going to win the region, and Holston's going to win it. We didn't do our Stump The Crig because of time constraints here. How much time we got left, Pistol?
4.
Oh, we got 4.
I already know the answer to it. It's Gatorade.
Daggone.
Gatorade.
Yeah, I already knew it.
Right.
I know the answer.
You know the answer?
Yeah, on the way I thought about it.
Well, I guess we could go ahead and do it then, couldn't we? All right, let me see if I can dig it up here.
It's an easy one today. It was Gatorade.
Gatorade. There you go.
Can I ask you one later?
What does an alligator get when he signs up on welfare? Gatorade.
You're welcome.
That's pretty darn good.
You're
Pretty
welcome.
darn good. All right. I do have another one. I don't know if you don't know it, do you?
Well, I think it's I can't remember. Let's see. Lord, disappoint.
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 Disappoint. They couldn't find it. It cost him election.
Disappoint. All
I
right.
told him that too that day. I told Ray.
Disappoint. All right. Let's take a look and see what.
Disappoint, not these.
Are you sure now? Disappoint.
These.
What is it?
He says disappoint. I ain't never heard that word, but not disappoint. Disappoint.
Disappoint. Point.
What was that hippie smoking? Disappoint?
That's right.
I would have figured it'd been disjoint. I don't know if we stumped him or not.
You didn't. I got you off.
What was that hippie smoking? All right. Well, folks, we failed once again to stump the Crig. We coming back next week, fellas, or not?
Yeah, as long as we got
As long as we got
G-men
somebody
going.
All right, as long as we got somebody
Hosting going, we'll talk 'em. We might show up over there next week.
That'd be a good thing to do.
No, that's this week.
Yeah, it's this way. I would expect that if we did, we would get the rural treatment, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if we roll up in Graham or Bluefield, I'm sure they would have the red carpet rolled out, the tent
I'll be
set up,
gone, man. I
and
mean,
the whole 9
Where are
yards.
you gonna be?
I don't know yet. Maybe Memphis.
All right, well, that's all I've got. You got anything else, Coach?
Disjoint.
Yes, joint. All right, you got anything else? All right, until next time, I'm Coach Moore.
Coach Tester.
Coach Krieger.
Reminding you, if you ain't first, you're last.
Zane Tester.